You're welcome to Skilldemy. In our last video, we showed you how to perform descriptive statistics in SPSS. This video explains and helps to interpret descriptive statistics in SPSS. Now, in the previous video, we understood that we use the mean and the standard deviation in doing these interpretations in SPSS. Okay, so this is the result we ran from our previous video. Now, in doing this, let's get to understand our questionnaire first. This is our questionnaire, and the Likert skill questions were on a 5-point scale, where 1 is strongly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3 is neither agree nor disagree, which is neutral, 4 is agree, 5 is strongly agree. Okay, now in doing this explanation, we consider the values that are under the mean. Okay, we consider the mean values and we consider the standard deviation, where we indicate which level or at what point do the respondents agree or disagree to the statements. All right, now I want to show you an easier way to interpret this, a very simple way, not to stress yourself. So let's look at something over here. Let's assume that you have a number line. Okay, you have a number line where this part is 1. Okay, on your left you have 1 and on your right you have 5, because we are looking at a 5-point number scale or a 5-point Likert scale from 1 to 5. And what we are saying is that 1 is strongly disagree, all right? 2 is disagree, 3 is neutral, 4 is agree, 5 is disagree. Now, when you look at this number scale between 1 and 5, we have to locate the midpoint. So let's say this is our midpoint. Now, between 1 and 5, what value is the midpoint? It is 3. Okay, so 3 becomes our midpoint, where we have 2 here, we have 4 here. Okay, so in our case, our explanation and the focus is on the 3. What we are saying is that if we get a value that is between 1 and 3, because 1 is strongly disagree and 2 is disagree, we generally agree that the respondents believe that the respondent generally disagree to that statement. So any value that is equal to or less than 3.0, no, any value that is less than 3.0 means that respondents generally disagree to that statement. In the same way, should we get a value that is between 4 and that is between 3 and 5, okay? So any value that is greater than 3. So what we are saying is that when the mean values are less than 3, we say respondent generally agree. When the mean values are greater than 3, we say they generally agree. Now, when the mean value is just around 3.0, when the mean value is just around 3.0, we say that they are indifferent. So let's go back to our SPSS results and see if we can interpret it. So when you look at this, now our main value here is saying that the organization attracts highly skilled employees, and the main value is 4.4360. Now, when we look at our number line here, it is 4.4 something. That means that they generally agree. Okay, that means that they generally agree. How do we interpret this? I mean, we have seen it, we know the result. What is the interpretation and what is the implication of this? Okay, so now when you read this, that the organization attracts highly skilled employees with a mean value of 4.4360, it means that respondents strongly, because 4.4 is very close to 5, which is strongly agree. So it means that respondents generally agree to the fact that the organization attracts highly skilled employees. Then we move to the next one. Recruitment processes are fair and transparent with a mean value of 4.1943. Now, the interpretation is that attraction and recruitment practices are rated, so you can see it over here. So attraction and recruitment practices are rated highly, with employees indicating strong agreement that the company attracts highly skilled workers. Now, when you are done with your interpretation, then you would have to put your mean values and the standard deviation in brackets, so that should anybody confirm, want to cross-check what you are saying from the table, the person can easily locate what you mean. Okay, so this is how. So the first one, what we say is that the descriptive statistics results show that, there is a strongly positive view about the organization's talent management practices, and that is what is here. The organization attracts highly skilled employees, and so that one has to do with the organizational talent practices. Okay, now let's look at the third one. The third variable here is my skills and competencies were considered during the hiring process. It is 4.7. So how would you explain this? How would you interpret this? So what we say is that respondents generally agree that their competencies were considered during the hiring process, with a mean, of course, into brackets, 4.18 and standard deviation 0.68. Although this item shows slightly more variation in responses, and when you say there is variation in responses, that one has to do with the standard deviation. Okay, so the standard deviation is a value. I will do a video to explain further what standard deviation means in statistics, but for now, standard deviation generally explains whether the respondents to a statement whether the responses are centered around the mean. Okay, whether they are centered around the mean or whether they are closer, whether they are far from the mean. The point is, when you do your interpretation, you explain based on this that I've shown you here. So any value that is less than 3.0, we generally say they disagree. Any value that is greater than 3.0, we say they agree. When a value is centered around 3.0, we say they are indifferent or they are neutral generally, and be able to do your explanation. I wish you the very best. I would upload this result, this interpretation, and you can use it as a guide. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.